question?
Hello, Neverwinter.
Making a statement?
It would appear that the previous strategy that I put up for this boss was deemed as unacceptable by the devs, and they have since made it so that if those summoners happen to fall off the edge, they will get spawned back into the center of the arena, angry and in a position where it's going to be even more difficult to deal with them. So here is a slightly different strategy from a DPS perspective. Unfortunately, with this change that the devs have made, this does almost mean that a wizard is required in this dungeon now, which is a shame. But a lot of the other strategy tips that I put up there are still appropriate.
Sure.
You want to have a lot of stuns, you want to have a lot of
Whatever you say, buddy.
control,
Or us.
you want to take down those summoners as fast as possible. And as a wizard, if you happen to be playing the wizard role, you're going to want to be ready to push any hounds that spawn off the map. So what we usually take to do, like I said, like previously, these bosses are not
Tingly.
they're not high burn bosses. You kind of get punished for burning too high. So what you need to be doing is thinking Minotaurs, AoE comps, just things to keep mobs under control. And the previous advice remains true, so you can avoid getting the red fire dot put onto you if you stay close to the boss. Obviously his big center red AoE pushes everybody out, and those hounds, when they die, they pop out a red AoE as well, which will push you. In this instance I'm using Icy Terrain and Ray of Frost for a bit of extra control. If you can go in and entangle the summoner as soon as possible. They can't use their powers when they're stunned, entangled or held in some way. So good things for this are like Minotaurs, because the Minotaurs, even though they can't pull them in, the summoners specifically, that pull-in does have a stun effect, which disables them for a little while. And that red, it is possible to dodge that red if you're quick. You'll notice we've got a couple of warlocks in the group. The Arms of Hadar
That was Barbie Girl, not him.
ability that the warlocks have also stuns these summoners and warlocks that pop up, as well as the mobs. So if you happen to have a warlock in the group, it's beneficial if they can run that. I'm also using the arms that you can pick up from the hunts in Nalbadolin or Mesobaranzan, which have a chance to inflict semi-paralysis, which are quite useful for this as well.
That would be a really... because it does count as a party member.
So these warlocks and summoners spawn initially at 5%,
Fuck, hit me then.
then at each 15%,
God damn.
up to 50%, and then it goes down to each 10%, and then once you get down to 15, well, it's supposed to be, once you get down to 20%, they then spawn every 5%.
Dog.
And on the very final spawn,
Dog.
it gets really messy. I suppose if you had enough control and non-AoE powers, you might be able to snipe off all of these without doing enough splash damage to phase the boss, but incredibly tricky. You'll notice that we're still holding them close to the edge. That's to make it easier for me to push off the mobs if the hounds spawn. And you may notice as well that we're saving artifacts to throw onto the summoners or warlocks when they pop up. I've heard that a Arcanist is actually significantly better at this than the Thaumaturge for the control aspect of it, at least, but I have not tested that personally yet.
Just like that.
And of course the advantage of the Warlock Healer is that they can shield, and they also have that lovely AoE cleanse on the Revitalise, just in case. Rogues are particularly and specifically useful for this boss. If they stealth and use their smoke bomb, they automatically grant everybody combat advantage, which effectively doubles your damage. So if you happen to have a rogue and a wizard in the group, you're very on your way to completing this boss. It's just quite unfortunate that they've made it basically incredibly difficult for certain compositions of groups to complete this. Not impossible, just difficult. You see the Minotaur bringing in, controlling the hounds there. The icy terrain, of course, also slows them if they do spawn. And then with Repel in R1, I can handily push them off the edge. And that just frees up the tank from getting overwhelmed.
Bye bye, doggos.
And we're staying very tight to the boss so that we don't cause that circle fire blast to spawn. But who knows, maybe next week the devs will come out and say, oh actually that circle fire thing's supposed to hit you no matter where you are. And we'll have to do another updated mechanics video once we've figured out how to stop that one from happening. Exciting times, guys. Yeah, so this is just an update to show you an alternative strategy to the previous one I put up. It is all still subject to change. There has been talk about them still tweaking and altering bits in this dungeon, so if it changes again and this one no longer works, then advanced apologies. Once we get down to 20%, we start going as slow as possible, try to avoid splash damage on the boss, because the last thing we want is a double spawn of the warlocks, because their damage resistance buff stacks. And if you get stacked damage resistance on the summoners, they are very difficult to kill. There's an alternative strategy where you take down the warlocks first. This is also viable. In fact, it might be the way to go, provided everyone's wearing enough stun gear. If you can stun lock out the summoner and kill the warlock, then that might be even more preferable. We do have a slightly more advanced strategy now where you can burn the last 10%. This boss gets stun locked when he does this mechanic in and out. He can't summon anything whilst he's doing that. So if you've got no warlock up when he goes into that phase, and you have enough burn, you can potentially just burn him straight through from 10 to 0. But it does get quite messy. Well, I mean, it's messy either way. But yeah, I think they really need to look at the spawn rate of these hounds. I don't know if they've overtuned this or what, but with the erratic movement of the boss and the excessive spawn rate of these hounds, I feel like they've
there we go.
not really thought through the mechanics of this
Hold
one.
on till the end though, Dome.
But anyway, there we go. That's a slightly updated strategy for defeating that boss. I hope that helps everyone. Obviously, there's going to be more strategies than that, but the basic idea was position the boss relatively close to the edge. Don't position him so close to the edge that the summoners drop off or that he drops off. Push the hounds off when they appear. And go quite slow. And try to avoid splash damage in the last 20%. So, thank you for watching, everyone. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you like a lot of videos, please subscribe. Good luck. Take it easy. Okay, so I was initially just going to do the updated second boss mechanics, but I did happen to have the rest of the run footage, so decided I might as well just explain a little bit of what happens in between. So between the second and the third boss, there are various mobs groups. There is quite a few shortcuts through here, which you'll want to pay attention to if you ever go for the speedrun challenge. This area also contains a couple of chests that the mini bosses spawn from, which form part of one of the achievements, which are necessary to get the overall title and achievement.
And you know, it's not even just like any old
That particular one is also available in advanced, but I don't know. I don't know if the devs are currently aware of that, so maybe get it done as soon as possible before they find out and fix it. If we jump down here, we can skip a portion of mobs on the top road, and all of these little tricks and stuff will be necessary for the speedrun if and when
Loot Goblin.
anyone decides to do that. It'll also be quite handy for the death list to avoid as many mob groups as possible. There's two pathways here. The left way leads to mobs, the right way sneaks past the mobs. Of course, our glorious tank will attack anything he sees, so we decide to kill them on this occasion. Obviously for AoE sections, AoE builds are useful. Thaumaturge on the wizard is yeah, I think Thaumaturge on the wizard is still the best AoE option. Haven't played about too much with the Arcanist AoE. I do still think that the Arcanist AoE will slightly beat the Thaumaturge in just a pure single target smackdown.
Wait. Did we come in at the same time?
As you can see, I actually came into this run somewhat late.
Well, I was concentrating on crowd
And
control.
the previous group were having an unfortunate time. So this Dragon Slayer build is the one that I put up on YouTube just before the mob dropped. But tweaked a little bit because obviously that build was in an ideal situation with certain things going on.
no point running them on the tank, but yeah.
And more often than not, static stats
I mean,
will
Sham Valor tank
outperform
for some reason has
potential
critical strike about 60%.
damage.
It's not impossible to do, but
Static stats over intermittent damage buffs. Actually, looking at it now, that builds a bit of a mess. I need to sort that out.
you get the loot drop you need and just never go in there again.
Dragon Slayer potions, Dragon Slayer Dragon Scrolls of Protection from Dragon are useful
Completed.
for this last boss.
See you in 3 months.
This last boss is a bit of a doddle, really, but they are talking about increasing its damage and its HP. I have no idea why they need to increase its HP, because, my god, it's just a boring fight, really, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I've got loads of stuff that just isn't selling at the minute.
Considering how the first boss of this dungeon is probably the only one that I would consider to be fun.
I do like
mechanics wise. The second one is just twitchy and buggy as hell, and this last one is just kind of boring. Excessively high HP.
Well, you never know. That time might come again.
For those of for those of you still watching, this is what happens sort of in between the bits. This is why I usually just post the actual boss bits, because obviously it's incredibly dull in between. I can't even remember what the hold-up was here.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the DC is more that
Perhaps we were waiting for someone.
mechanics, isn't it? Divinity.
I might even do a slight time skip. Let's see how long this takes. Ah yes, I recall now. This was the day I randomly got sent a polar bear, and I'm still not entirely sure what that was about.
For some reason, a guildie just sent me a polar
Can't
bear.
say no to a random polar bear though, right? Now, a lot of these mechanics behave similar to Dragon Hunt mechanics, so that massive red on the floor, all you need to do is dodge when it's up, and it will classify you as having dodged it. The best position to avoid any dragon's tail swipe in this game is the back left leg. Do not stand directly behind it, or you'll get smacked down. So these little candle mechanics are somewhat similar to Ravenloft. He does do a audio cue when he's going to do it. And this boss will randomly get stuck on absolutely anything, so that's why it's taken a while to get some footage of him where he hasn't sort of glitched himself out, unfortunately. These green stacks of poison on the ground, they poison your AP, they give you a AP bleed, which is intensely irritating, but yet another somewhat interesting bug, I suppose you could call it, is it will trigger Tactician's Precision if you happen to attempt to throw your daily and in the same second you lose it and thus are not able to throw it. it will still trigger Tactician's Precision, and then you basically just have your daily back as soon as it comes back again. I don't think you could do it intentionally, but it does happen.
Get good, Bursky. Get good.
So the main mechanics here are these candles. Sometimes you'll have to go into the middle. Most of the time you'll be able to find a safe spot around the outside. He does have a massive breath attack that will cover most of the arena, if you depending on where he's positioned. Very difficult to escape from. And he does hit pretty hard, so I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about wanting to increase his damage or his HP. Because, to be fair, it is already a somewhat dull fight. Once you take him down to 50, he starts doing less predictable mechanics. They are still telegraphed before he does them, but it's not in any normal rotation or sequence. In and out, basically.
Oh shit. Oh, that was close.
Artifacts go. Yeah, as far as dragons go, this one is kind of disappointing. I think the most exciting dragon we've had is Palavorian from Crown, especially in MGR. Now, MGR was a very well crafted dungeon, or trial. Certainly haven't quite hit that quality in the last several mods, unfortunately. But who knows, we've had quite a few quality of life updates to the game in general, so maybe there's better things to come.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
And I hope you appreciate why I haven't bothered putting this fight up in a video before, because it is, to be perfectly honest, it's boring to talk about. It's kind of boring to comment on. And who wants to watch a boring YouTube video, right? So yeah, it's chip away, chip away, chip away. Below 50, he starts getting a little bit random. Below 30, I think it is, he starts going pretty batshit crazy. He starts doing all sorts of random crap. And does it fast, like really fast random crap. Gotta have your wits about you. Yeah, goddamn, I might actually have to put some music behind this so it's not just like vast amounts of silence.
Oh, what was that?
Those candles will definitely kill you if you get caught in them. And each one applies a increased damage debuff. So it's especially pertinent for the tank. If he gets caught in too many of them, he's going to start getting one shot just by normal things. So it's definitely worth dodging them if you can. One particular issue that the tank might have, or the group might have, is that depending on where the tank positions them, it's going to affect where the fire breath goes. So if the tank decides to go straight into the middle to dodge a candle, and the DPS happen to be anywhere near it, and the dragon decides to follow up with a breath, those DPS are going to get screwed, right? And then occasionally if the tank's too close to the edge, the dragon will do this pretty cool looking, to be fair, forward flip, turn around, and then just blast a breath across the arena, which will... The range isn't the entire arena, but it is close to being the entire arena, so it's a very tricky one. And as you can see, this particular one I'm not showing off my mechanical ability particularly well.
Highly proficient.
But
Oh, come on.
he does die. I probably should have watched this through. Don't usually advertise the fact that I got campfire carried, but there we go.
I was still in the arena when he died.
Okay, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you like a lot of the videos, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.
No,
Good
Lou.
luck and take it easy.
Practical Regal collar base. Whoop, whoop. Oh, nothing at all from that run. Love it.